we are the last weekend at Old Hilltop. It is just the extension. We'll be back at Laurel next week. But welcome to Today at the Races, of course, with Keith Fusel here today. And, of course, we've got those carryover boards. Let's quickly talk about that. Let me see if I can just jump back to last weekend and see if we can find any prices. There weren't any strong prices. Maybe Willful Desire in the first opener on Monday, but we're back here Friday. Of course, that Rainbow Pick 6 is at 483,561, and of course that jackpot Super High Five 459,622 starts in race and is only race number 6. Now, Keith, let's go ahead and take a look and see what we've got going on outside. Of course, in the beginning when we start the early pick 5.
Nice day today. Going to heat up. I think we might get close to 90, maybe the low 90s this afternoon. We've had a good stretch of weather here in Baltimore. We probably need a touch of rain just to kind of help things out. Things have been pretty dry, but we'll take it through the racing day. No doubt about it. Main track fast. The turf course obviously firm. And the pursuit does continue for the Rainbow Pick 6, the Jackpot Super High 5. We're here to kind of help you along. Will it be a single ticket, or will we get to Sunday for that mandatory payout? We're going to find out.
What's your bet? Looking at the card
I think
overall,
we're going to get to a mandatory payout. That's me, but I tell you what, I will be playing today, I will be playing tomorrow, and I will be playing Sunday. So if you miss out, you want to back out and let me take it, I'll be glad to take it.
Here's hoping Keith Fusel gets that single ticket for one or both of those pools, and we probably won't ever see him again after that if that happens. But let's get things kicked off in race number 1 with that early pick 5 and that claiming 12-5 going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 3-year-old. Scratching the number 2, Sir Smoak. Let's go ahead and take a look at Calvary Command in this race for Tim Salzman. Gets Carlos Lopez in the saddle today for the second time.
I think Calvary Command is on a little bit of the improve. You know, none of these horses have run super fast, Callie, these 3-year-olds. But the blinkers went on 2 starts ago. I know he's been kind of a horse with some speed, a little bit of a chase type, but he seems a little bit more focused. And I like the battle he shows in his most recent race on May the 18th. Down inside on a racetrack that slight negative inside, and a track that can kind of favor some horses coming from just off the pace. Calvary Command holding on well, just giving way ever so grudgingly the last 16th of a mile. To me, looks like the main speed of this race. Trophy room from the inside might kind of force that issue. He's shown some speed in the past, but I think when they turn for home, Calvary Command's going to be the one to catch, like the recent form in the improvement. Cypress Station is my top selection. More lightly raced, only 3 lifetime starts. But I like how kind of keyed up he was last time. After a little bit of a bump at the break, he went on with it pretty well, took command in hand, met a bid, and it kicked away eagerly when switching back to his correct lead in mid-stretch. Shortening up in distance is the key for me. I'm a little concerned about that. But he was sharp early after that break, so maybe he can kind of get in range of the speeds in here, specifically Calvary Command, and kind of wear him down because he's definitely got the fitness off of that route win last time out.
Absolutely, I agree with you. That gate speed that he did show last time out, it's not quite as a concern for me, so it's a stronger top selection for me. And as you mentioned, Calvary Command, taking all of that experience on the rail last time out makes things a lot easier for him being on that outside post, Keith. So you go 5, 6, 3, 4 there in the opener. Did you want to touch on the number 3? And Rascally Rebel from Royer Saray Jr. gets Georgie Hernandez in the saddle.
And the jockey has gotten along well with Sky. He's a deeper closer. He did have a setup of a duel last time, but he had to overcome a pretty rough break. He was jostled around pretty good out of there. He went to the inside, saved ground, worked an outside trip through the stretch, finished up quite well, improved number. He might be bet down a little bit more off of that figure. I did not have that figure when I did the morning line. I see the 56 pretty solid and caught a hot horse in Cajun Dream.
There we go. Number 3 underneath for Keith Fusel there in the opener for Friday's card here at Old Hilltop. And, of course, we have the early pick 4, which is next, starts in race number 2. Keith, your ticket looks a little bit like this. I like this structure.
Yeah, a little bit like this. We're keying up Brittany Russell in race number 3, but a little spread in race number 2. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ricochet to me looks like the one to beat. William Walden coming in with his horse out of Kentucky. The blinkers come off back to the turf. I think that will be key to that horse's performance today. Race 3. Got a couple horses tough to separate in Gold Rush Hottie and How Sweet She Is. But now you've got a looming firster in PJ's Rider for Brittany Russell. We have a stat coming up for that one. Race 4. I think anybody's horse race here. Maybe hit the all button if you can. I may just do that in the pick six.
Sure.
2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 11. Nobody sticks out in there, especially with that scratch of the 7. Sweet Beauty. Race 5. Narrowing it down. These look like the 2, 6, 7. Fast Track Ocean Getaway. Major Houlihan would be the third one in there if you're going to use one. I do like Fast Track a lot today. $24 for that early pick 4.
We'll touch a little bit on Fast Track once we get to race number 5, but let's turn the tables back into race number 2, which does kick off this early pick 4. In this mile and a 16th event on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up, this starter optional 20.
Yeah.
Scratching the number 1, 3, and 9. Keith, you and I both land on the number 7, Ricochet. Let's go ahead and take a look at that race in Saratoga from last year in the end of July from the quarter pole on.
Pretty good race, and it turned out to be a double key race, and some other horses out of there, Callie, have come back to run quite strong. So this one, had a break from September, at 22, a little break to November. Form tailed off a little bit, dirt synthetic. But I think getting back to the turf is going to be key. This horse makes this good, steady, grinding run, was 4 wide top of the stretch, able to kind of get the lead and go clear here late, holding off the challengers. We've seen Walden run a few horses here the last couple of years. He's had success. I think just looking for a winning spot and gets it in a race where there's not a whole lot of flow. Ricochet should be comfortable. Anywhere close to those prior turf numbers should put him, I think, first or second in here.
You talk about there is not really flow. He is the flow in this race, especially with that style that he comes back at. With the blinkers off, things open up for him. Toledo, he fits this horse with this type of style that's needed on this turf today here. So certainly, let's talk about the number 8, Samui Sunset, Rudy Sanchez Salmon. Georgie Rui gets the call. Georgie Rui has not ridden a lot for Rudy, but comes back off, second time off of the layoff for Sanchez Salmon.
Yeah, I'm going to have a horse here. I think he's going to be double digits today, getting a very capable turf rider. No knock against the Dano, but I think needed that last race. You go back on his page, some good efforts, making that bold run, top of the stretch home. I think he works here. He's going to slip away at a price. You see that race at Delaware. It's an okay run, a little middle move before fading. I think can move up off of that. I'm just trying to add some value for the exacta. So you're going to give me a trainer like Sanchez Salmon, who's been a little chilly of late, needs to pick things back up. Same way Sunset back in Maryland might be a user in here. Mint Game, I think, was wide against a slower flow. Needs to be maybe covered up to enhance the run. I think he's going to be able to work out that trip a little closer inside.
Agree. A busy-minded horse. I 100% agree with that. Keith, you also have 1-2 Kid underneath. Any last words, any quick words on 1-2 Kid?
Yeah, I think, I think Grant does a good job. He doesn't get a whole lot of mounts, but, he's able to save ground, work out trips. This one, maybe a little bit of an early move last time kind of hurt this horse late. Kind of didn't want that field to get away. They saw the fractions. I can understand why he didn't want to let anybody get away. But this horse's running style is sit a little bit further back and make that one run. See, again, he could be against it from a flow standpoint. The only horse I think that could maybe also go is Aristocat for Farrier. Is 1-for-1 on the turf, has shown that speed on the dirt. Maybe he decides to go, and if things quicken up, that's going to help the chances of a horse like 1-2 Kid who likes to sit and make that one big run.
In addition, Aristocat, 19% with Speightster's second time on the turf adds to that effect. Keith Fusel goes 7-8-5-6 in the start of the early pick of 4. Race number 3 does start another pool. Of course, we have that Rainbow pick 6, 483,561. That does start in race number 3, not race number 4. Race 3 today in this maiden special weight. I start off, I kind of slim things down in this race 5 and 6 in this maiden special weight. Race number 4, I see the same thing. I don't have the 11. Race number 4 to me, Keith, is a full-out riders race. William Humphrey was named on 3 of them. Other riders have picked up the calls from those double calls. Really intriguing field there. Race number 5, too deep. I'm going to go ahead and skip to race number 6 in that allowance. Handful of scratches, but a handful of value still there. Especially 5 furlongs on the turf with a bunch of these speedy girls who love being on this type of track. In my single in race number 8, it's an obvious go-to in that maiden 12-5. But let's go ahead and kick back for my $32 ticket and go back into this maiden special weight. The 6 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 3-year-old filly. Scratching the 1, Neat Nick from Arnaud Delacour. Keith, you and I have the number 5 on top. Again, an obvious go-to in PJ's rider for Brittany Russell. Husband Sheldon Russell gets the call. And Keith, of course, you've got a stat on Brittany Russell.
How about this stat? It's just pretty staggering, huh? I go back the last 3 years on the dirt in Maryland. 8 for 10, 80% with the 3-year-old fillies in the maiden special weight ranks, going first time out. That is just amazing. 526, your ROI, and how sweet she is, Gold Rush Hottie. I think they're going to be players in here. But these trainers, when they look at the overnight, that one name they don't want to see on the trainer's name, it looks like Russell. She's got a firster here by Union Jackson, 12%, a New York bred. So interesting they didn't decide to go up there. But the mare was okay, 2 for 8, one debut. One of the siblings, there's 3 that have run, one hit the board, but they've all shown that pretty good sharp speed. Looks like PJ's rider is working forwardly. I'm sure the board is going to tell a lie. It's probably going to take a lot of play. If there's a hiccup, you got to worry about the 4 and the 6 Gold Rush Hottie. Even the 7, you look down from a first-time starter standpoint. 2 winners out of this mare Bear Slayer, including the 9-time winner, Half in the Wrapper, who this one is a full 2, who topped out at an 85 on the dirt. Amy Cortez doesn't run a lot of horses, but when she does, pay a little bit of attention. She's done well with the limited supply.
Last 365 days, 3 for 18 as of lately. So, hey, that's something to be said. But again, both of our singles are on the number 5 in race number 3. 5, 4, 6, 2 for Keith Fustel. And in race number 4, no pools start anymore, although I think it is the late pick 5 that does start. That claiming 12-25, which have never won 5 furlongs on the turf for the girls, 3 and up, scratching the number 1, 7, 12, and 13. Keith, you have the number 5, Princess Palmer for a price. This is your price play of the day. Hassan Amari, Javian Toledo. It's hard to count this filly out at Pimlico 5 on the turf.
Yeah, I might be reaching a little bit, but you've got to reach in race number 4. You have the Scratch of Sweet Beauty, we thought was going to take plenty of play. Form all over the map. If you say, who's the horse to beat in here, Cal, I'd say maybe Smart Yuli. Russell going to pick up this mount. Comes out of a really salty race last time. They went fast. Caught very wide top of the stretch. She has the ability to run into it. And there's quite a bit, I think, of speed in this race. They'll be going quick. I'm looking for a horse just off the pace. I know Princess Palmer went early last time with Maserati. That was her downfall. But she's shown on the page to kind of maybe make that move just off the pace. Toledo's gotten along with her, just taking a shot. Hassan Amari's got to pop sooner or later with one of these turf horses at Pimlico.
Absolutely, and I was fighting with her on and off of my ticket, so I absolutely can understand that. The number 2 who you have underneath on the rail now inherits the rail in America's Woman, Donnie Barr. Thais Pustina gets the call. I have a feeling I know what your key race is going to be, so I want to hear your take on that key race.
I mean, again, she's coming off the break. They could have had her for a nickel out of that race in January. Long break. But turf, 9 starts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. Keying up against I'm Not One to Complain, who ran well for 25-3 in life with a number of 63 not so long ago. So America's Woman, another one, a double-digit kind of horse. I think the flow is going to be honest. If Liapicini just sit there, save some ground, this field might come back to her at a big number. I'm looking for a bomb here in race number 4. I may not get it. Talked about Smart Yuli coming out of that key race. And write this down. Turf races that work, nothing super flashy. She's kind of a grinding runner. I think she needed her last. You're looking at a horse like Queen Tapster, touch on the 11, got a little shot. Your top pick? I'm going to use in the exact, and I will use in my pick 4s and my pick 6s, Ballyhooly for a barn that goes great guns when they run turf sprinters here in Maryland.
And that's exactly what I'm going off of. But I do like your pickup on Smart Yuli. I love this distance and this setup for her. Again, looking for a bomb price here in race number 4. Keith Fusel goes 5-2-3-8, and we will be right back after this commercial break to talk about the rest of Friday's card. And welcome back. We are back for race at number 5 in this allowance optional 62.5, going 1 mile and 1/8 on the dirt. For the girls, straight 3-year-old girls, let's go ahead and take a look right away at Fast Tracked. Let's go back to mid-April, coming back into 2023 here in Maryland, leaving to that 5-ace pole.
Yeah, I've liked her since her debut run. I mean, a gritty effort, dueling and winning back at Laurel as a 2-year-old in November. Jumped up, ran a big race in the Maryland Juvenile Fillies, and then off a little bit break was thrown to the Wolves down at Tampa. She's worked herself back. She's had a couple really, really tough trips. We saw the steady. I probably talked right over. A little steady here at the mile distance, and is able to kind of just keep on going. Caught 5 wide and just grinding. I like the heart that she showed. She's back against straight 3-year-olds here today. Looks like her main competition is Ocean Gateway and Major Houlihan. She has positional speed. A couple of these horses inside might try to go ahead and go, but she's getting it right now, and I think you're going to see the best effort that she's shown yet here today at the mile and an eighth. Out of that family, Slow and Steady, we talked about. I think she was honored back when they had the awards there a month or two ago. But I think she's going to work, appreciate the distance, no issue within this family.
I feel like she just needs a little bit of luck.
She
with
does.
Her.
She's
just
been
needs
a little bit
yeah.
snake bitten with some
Yes.
trouble the last 2.
Then with that, let's talk about the potential snake bite in the number 7, Ocean Gateway for Christophe Clement. Victor Carrasco takes the call, comes back off of that maiden special weight win. Flashy enough number to be very, very strong in this field. A bit of the obvious horse to beat in this race, a little bit.
Obviously, the connections are going to draw a slew of play. I mean, Fast Track could be favored. These two, I think, are going to be very close when it's all said and done. She got by and beat 3 others last time, a 4-horse field. I think what flatters her is the 2-back try. 4th, kind of flat there, beating 4. But the second-place finisher, Imorna, came back, has run really, really big. Ran a 79, winning off by 11, and then came back to win an allowance race with like an 82 buyer. So hooked a really talented runner there. Yep. I think confidence is high. Ocean Gateway should be fine here. And I love the improvement of Major Houlihan. There's one, claim for 30. 2 good tries. Had to chase Good Girl, Bad Habits last time.
There we go. Keith Fusel, 6753 as we key on the Arnaud Delacour number 6 fast tracked. And let's go ahead and carry on to race number 6. And hey, that means we are at this jackpot. Super high 5, 459,000. And that's definitely going to be climbing by the time we get to race number 6, which is in this allowance 5 on the turf for the girls 3 years old and up. Scratching the number 7, 10, 12, and 13. Keith, you go ahead and take a look, take a chance on Afandi, Bernard Dunham, Wesley Ho. I fought with this one on and off my ticket. I'm very glad that you have this one on top.
She, again, is she fast enough to win? I threw her here on top. I think she's going to get the right kind of trip. A couple of these other horses have been running faster, but she ran big against Above the Limit. Got a little bit further back than I thought. Above the Limit came back to run a big number. Black-Eyed Susan Day with an 85 at a good field. Amani's Image came back to win the next day when the A other than. So I think Afandi is going to be able to cut position a couple lengths out of it. I don't want her 5 or 6 out of it at the top of the stretch. We're going to be in trouble if that happens. But if she can kind of stay close, because there's going to be some flow in here. Chrome-plated Heart likes to be close. Flirtatious Last. And Maserati showed how fast she was when she took to the turf last time. Opening quarter, 22 flat on the 12th. Flirtatious Last, who won on the front end the same day, 22 and 2. Things are going to be hot and heavy into the turn, around the turn. Chrome-plated Heart, I think she'll make that first kind of move. Can she sustain through it? She's run against the right kind. Beantown Baby, a couple races back, a really good veteran turf sprinter.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Chrome-plated Heart back in that referred race that you talked about on Gulfstream in March 11th.
Yeah, she's able to kind of get up within a couple lengths early. They were going quick, 21 and 3, 44 and 3. They usually run some pretty quick internals down there in their sprints. It just kind of works in, gets a trip, finishes up quite well. Going to only get beat a length and a quarter. Back to 5/8, I think, is even a little bit better for her when needing to bring that finish. She might have a touch of flat at 5.5. She's going to work here today, I think, with a good break. If she avoids trouble in the turn, she'll be lurking top of the stretch.
I agree. I've always been a fan of this filly, even when she first came out in Laurel with Justin Nixon. So it's going to be, I'm very excited to see her back here. A bit more seasoned at Pimlico. Again, you mentioned on Island, or you haven't really touched too much on Island Philo. Susan Cooney, 12 to 1. Here's a price at Javian Toledo, 20% for Susan.
Yeah, you're probably going to get double of what she was last time in the return. Hung wide, 3 to 4 wide, the 12th. Speed was good. It was tough to close on that turf course. Maybe it's going to be today. But we've seen horses come from a little further back of recent. So I think Island Philo needed that last race. Another one going to be able to draft and save a little bit more ground based on that position. And the speed horses just to her inside. The 3 inside want to kind of go. So I think she'll move up top of the stretch, saving ground, and then work out a trip from there to close in.
Anything can happen there in race number 6 in that
Mm-hmm.
jackpot. Super high 5, of course, that pool, remember, is going to be at least over 460,000 by the time we get to race number 6. And race number 7 is this allowance going 6
Mm-hmm.
furlongs on the dirt for the girls 3 years old and up. Scratch in the number 1 summer odds. Keith, let's go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and talk and take a look at response time. And
Yeah.
let's take a look back at her February race from the midturn onward.
I'll tell you what, when she's good, she's really, really good. And she, Callie, she is
Yes.
fast. She's developed into quite a runner. A hiccup in the conniver. I don't know what happened there. It's 60 cents, or sorry, 50 cents to the dollar. But going back to this race, February 24th, the two-back try, really, really good. 5.5. She's got to go an extra 16th today, but able to kind of prompt that pace. That was a fresh horse on the lead, and she just kind of stays determined, focused, and right on by. She catches a field here. I think she's the speed as she goes. I think she can shake away on the turn. Golden Effect might have something to say with that newfound speed, but when it's all said, response time's quicker if she's right. If she's right, she clears top of the stretch. She'll have to hold off the closers. Prodigy Doll, Moody Woman.
I think it's the 6 furlongs that really does it for me with response time. She's going to absolutely love that, and I lean towards Golden Effect
Okay.
just because I'm riding on the bandwagon. I'm seeing these progressive, slow but like turtle progressive numbers coming up with her. But with you also include as you mentioned, Prodigy Doll,
Yeah.
Phil Schoenthal, Fergal Lynch takes the call on this one. Again, not really a wrap up in that last effort in the Primonetta.
Yeah.
But this one, you have to love I like the bit of resurgence. 16% second off the layoff for Phil.
She certainly works here. Has a credible number over this racetrack. Last time, a definite excuse. And she's been able to beat response time. A couple of these horses have taken turns beating each other, including Moody Woman. More of a one-run closing type. But she's been steady. Numbers work. You can't dismiss her
You
either.
can't.
Yeah. They
Absolutely.
look like the top 3 to me. I like your reasoning for a little bit of a price with Golden Effect because I think she will be a fair price when looking at the other 3.
Just riding on that what she's been doing lately. I'm riding on that bandwagon, but
Okay.
Keith Fuso goes 4, 5, 2, 3. Race number 8 is a maiden claiming 30, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Scratch in the number 6 Money Room. Keith, you and I both have the number 2 Bar Down Express. Rudy Sanchez Salmon gets Axel Concepcion. Let's go ahead and take a look at that last effort back here at Pimlico on an off track.
I tell you, this guy's come back on the barn change and off the break. 2 razor sharp tries, running almost too good to lose in both of them. Battles, on the comeback May 4th and here on the May 13th. Dueled, you see this a little drift out. It just keeps on going. It meets the bids. It's just not quite good enough. The Great Kazoo probably in the better part of the track. That was a little bit of a closer's influence towards outside. And Bar Down Express, key is, have those races taken the starch out of them. Catches a short field in here. It looks like the primary speed. I think he goes a long way.
Perfect. And then you also have the number 4 underneath North Highland for Hammy Smith, Angel Cruz. This one, I believe, cutting back and I think the cutback in distance is probably your biggest attraction for this one. Yes.
Yeah, maybe faced a little bit better overall on the dirt. I know we got lucky faced, of course, like Blue Collar Boom, and that day was a huge race. But North Highland, interesting. Like Trey Nokuge sits back, doesn't have the speed of Bar Down Express. But if he gets a little help, I think he'll make a run into. I think the one upside down man, barn change, blinkers on, forward work, X-Man for Bobby Bales. We saw those kind of combined with Clubman. You
Yep.
might see a little jump up in form for that one from the inside.
I was tempted for
Okay.
sure. So Keith Fusel goes 2, 4, 3, 1 there, and we are going to wrap it up here for the chat about these races here. Let's head on over to your best bet and
Okay.
your value play, with your value play, of course, being in race number 4. Princess Palmer, 15-1. That's a good race to go in for a price for.
You have to in that race. I mean, no real legitimate recent form when you really break it down. Speed, there's an abundance of it. Yes, she showed it last time, but I think you're going to see a little different tactic to get today, sitting just off the pace and trying to make that pop move by the time they turn for a home. But it'll be interesting. I'm going to take those double digits and run with it. Best bet of the day, we're going to go to Fast Track. You talked about it. She just needs a little bit of luck.
Right.
Hopefully she gets it today with a cleaner break. I think if she avoids adversity through the opening quarter of a mile, I think she's going to be just fine and is going to be able to handle that mile and an eighth distance.
I agree on all fronts. Clean, fingers crossed for a clean trip for Fast Track for the Delacours, and we're going to head it over and take it to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches. Thank you.
All right, good luck.